So Grinding Gear Games just had their huge live stream outlining everything that's going to be in the 0.20 update. And in this video, I'm going to give you a quick overview of what happened during that live stream. So first off, the Huntress class. It's going to be using the brand new spear weapon and a new shield called the Buckler. Unlike all the shields in the game right now, rather than blocking, the Buckler introduces a new system called parrying. Performing a parry is essentially the same as performing a block, but instead of just blocking the attack, you will actually deflect the attack and stun the monster. Additionally, the monster will take more damage from your attacks following that parry. And on top of parrying, the Huntress also introduces a new skill called beast taming, which allows you to tame beasts that you've slain through your battles and summon that beast as a minion which retains all of its prior mods when it was alive. The Huntress also comes with 22 new skills and 2 new ascendancies, the first one being the Ritualist and the second one being the Amazon. Now beyond the Huntress, they're also introducing over 100 new support gems, over 100 new uniques and unique charms, as well as 3 additional ascendancies for other classes as well. This includes the Mercenary with the Tactician ascendancy, the Warrior with the Smith of Katava ascendancy, and the Witch with the Lich ascendancy. They're also bringing in Spectres and the Summon Roa ability that was teased way at the beginning of the release of Path of Exile 2. Now, this patch wouldn't be so big if it was just this. They also introduced a ton of new endgame mechanics, including new crafting systems. The first new mechanic they introduced are the Asmarian Wisps. These are similar to the Tormented Spirits in Path of Exile 1. These wisps will fly around as you follow them, influence monsters that they crosses paths with, and eventually will take over a rare monster, giving it additional affixes and loot. Rogue Exiles will also be back in Path of Exile 2, a mechanic that we've seen in Path of Exile 1. These Rogue Exiles will possess unique equipment, enhancing their abilities in their battle against you. Defeat these Rogue Exiles to acquire that equipment. In addition to these new mechanics, they're also revamping and improving a ton of old mechanics from the base game. This includes adding unique strongboxes and completely rehauling how you earn Atlas passive points. Instead of just doing 15 maps, they're actually going to be incorporating the corruption that exists in the maps themselves. Clearing these areas of corruptions will spawn a boss, and after defeating that boss, it will drop Atlas points. This is a much more engaging system, and I'm a huge fan of it. And after you clear that corruption, all the maps in the surrounding area will become cleansed maps. These maps will come with their own monsters, a new boss, and their own set of modifiers and rewards. Additionally, these cleansed areas will drop a new currency called Fractured Orbs, which I'll talk more about when we go into the crafting section. Another system that has been reworked completely are towers and tablets. Towers will now be a third less common, but in exchange for that, they're going to be a lot more powerful. In addition to being able to be influenced by all of the existing League mechanics, towers will also have their own unique bosses. And depending on the difficulty of the waystone that you use on that tower, it can now consume up to 3 tablets at once, and these tablets have been buffed to be able to influence up to 4 times as many maps as before. These tablet changes also introduce new unique tablets as well, each with their own effects when you influence a tower with them. All of these changes should make towers a lot more rewarding to do, and makes it so that players are now motivated to use their high-end waystones on these towers. And speaking of waystones, they're also adding 7 new maps to the Atlas itself, some of which have new mechanics never seen before in Path of Exile 2. Now on top of revamping these systems, they're also going to be adding a lot of quality of life as well, including one that players have been asking for since the launch of Path of Exile 2's early access, which is more portals for your maps. Yes, you heard that right. Grinding Gear Games is now adding multiple portals to your maps so that you're not as punished when you die in your mapping process. There is a catch though, because this system takes a lot of inspiration from the Pinnacle bosses, where the higher the difficulty, aka more mods on your map, the less portals there will be, eventually leading to only 1 portal left, just like the old system. But this is definitely a welcome change for anybody who is starting out Path of Exile and having a little bit of trouble surviving and keeping your maps sustained. And oh yeah, speaking of Pinnacle bosses, they're making it so that Pinnacle bosses no longer grant EXP, but on the flip side, if you die in one of these encounters, you won't have any death penalty either. This will encourage players to try out these bosses without the fear of losing their valuable experience. Now those are the changes to the endgame mechanics, but I'm not done yet because as I mentioned before, they are adding new crafting systems into the game. The biggest one being recombinating. This is something that existed in Path of Exile 1, where you could take two items and recombinate them into a new item, hopefully having a mixture of the affixes from both items. Unfortunately, the success rate isn't 100%, so if you fail the recombination, both items will be destroyed. And as I mentioned before, they're also adding in a new currency item called Fractured Orbs. Using these orbs on an item will make one of the affixes fractured. This essentially means that that affix is going to be locked and will not be able to be changed no matter what currency item or changes you make to that item itself. They're also adding in two new accessory bases as well as new runes. They're going to be adding both higher tiered runes and also runes that can only be slotted in specific equipment slots. And lastly, they're going to be adding the ability to vol essences. So if you see a monster trapped in an essence in the map, you can use your vol orb on it to have a chance at upgrading that essence to a greater essence, or if it's already a greater essence, you'll have a chance to get a corrupted essence instead. Now those are all of the big content updates and changes for this patch. Smaller additions include new skins and new supporter packs. And they did confirm that while they aren't calling this a new season, there will be a brand new league which will be a fresh start in order to reset the economy. Now, don't be too sad if you don't want to play a new character, because all of these changes will also be included in the old league as well. So that's it. Those are all the updates that they announced during the live stream today. Hopefully you guys are as excited as I am for these updates and looking forward to April 4th. Let me know down in the comment section what you're looking forward to the most, and while you're down there, please hit the sub button if you enjoyed the video, because that's the best way to support the channel, and it lets me know that you want to see more of these types of videos going forward. So with that, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see y'all in the next video. Alright guys, peace.